Hello everyone. Thank you for joining today's webinar. Right. If this is your first time, I think I'll be doing this very frequently, so I'll have to get used to it. So if this is your first time joining this webinar, it's a monthly series organized by UX Ghana, where we bring on an industry leader every month to share their experience on or their knowledge on a certain topic. Right. And usually I'm Michael Ayivi, the host for this series, but then today I'll be the host and also the speaker, and I'll be talking about leveraging the power of communities to actually grow as a designer. Right. So once again, thank you for joining, and I'll just share my screen and then share um, a short presentation that I've put together. All right. So let me just go ahead and share my screen very quickly. Yeah, there's going to be uh, yeah, there's going to be a lot of back and forth here and there. So in case like I switch from the presentation to Google Meet is because I have to kind of let someone in, right? So yeah. So before we get started, with the topic, I'd just like to do a little introduction about myself. So I'm a product designer and the community lead for UX Ghana, right? And then I started off my career as a backend developer back in 2019, but then I transitioned to product design in 2020. And since transitioning to product design, I've actually had the opportunity to work with companies and clients across multiple industries, right? Some of the projects that we've done have made some impact. Some have also been put on the shelf, as usual, because sometimes that's how the work goes. And also, outside of design, I do a couple of things as well. Just like I said, I'm the community lead for UX Ghana. I also organize a YouTube series called Behind the Design, where I bring on a product designer to actually talk about their workflow or work process. Right, it's basically how they're able to go from an idea to a shippable product, right? And then I also co-hosted the Junkie Talks podcast with the Design Junkies. So yeah, this is just a little introduction about myself, and I'd like to get started on today's topic. So just like I said, right, today we'll be talking about leveraging the power of community to actually grow as a designer, right? And then I've broken it down into a couple of sections. So yeah, I've broken it down to a couple of sections, and then the first one is why community matters in design. Yeah. So the first one is why community matters in design, the types of design communities that are actually available that you can join, also how to join and engage in communities, how to build a network in a design community, how to learn from community events and resources, collaborating with community members and growing together, and also overcoming some challenges when it comes to community engagement. Yeah. Okay, so the first one that we're going to talk about is why community matters in design. So when it comes to design communities, right, community actually matters in design because it provides you with a support system, right? Because it's made up of people on the same path as you, people also with the same interest as you. So then you can get to share ideas and then also learn from their experience, and also serves as a safe space too for you. Okay. Right. And oh, true. Can you give me a second? Let me. So yeah, let me see. Okay, hope this works. So yeah, so just like I was saying, right, being part of a design community gives you a support system, and also, right, design is more of a team sport, right? Because as a product designer, you'll be collaborating with multiple people to achieve a common goal. The people that I might collaborate with may be other product designers, the product team in your company, which will be made up of um, product managers, right? And then you'd also be collaborating with developers and QA people as well, depending on how your organization is structured, right? So being part of a community also gives you the chance to collaborate with other designers in your network, right? So you can use that to build a skill and then kind of transition that um, into your professional career, right? And also, if you're part of a design community, you get access to opportunities, right? You can also get access to mentors. You get to learn from other people's experiences and knowledge, and then you can also, through a design community, build a network as well, right? So I think the yeah, see. So then when it comes to the type of communities that you can join, I've broken it down into two. We have local communities and then we have online communities, right? Both these types of communities actually serve or have different benefits, right? So if it's a local community, you know that these are people around you, and then most of them share like similar experiences as you, and have been through most of the things that you've been through or you are going through. And then for online communities too, it also gives you like exposure to designers outside the network too, and then you can learn from their experiences and how they're able to use their environments or how their environments actually like influences the work that they do, right? And then you can also like pick from that and then bring it into your own work process. So for some of the communities, in terms of local communities, you have UX Ghana, we have the Design Junkies, Friends of Figma Accra, and we have a XID community. For online communities too, there's Design Twitter, which is basically just an open space where on Twitter where designers hang out, right? It's not like a fixed place or a fixed community. You can just interact with any designer that you see. Once the person is doing something that you work that you admire, you can just engage with their post or message them as well. Then there's the 10x designers community. This one is more of designers with who are looking for like a visual approach. I want to benefit from like or improve their visual designs. So that one is more of a paid community. I think it's hosted on Circles or so. So you can check that one out too. Yeah. Then there's Instagram, LinkedIn, and Dribble. These ones are also quite similar to Design Twitter too. So you can check them out to also like learn from, right? Then the next one is actually one now that we've seen. This thing's going to be a little bit distracting, but okay. So now that we've seen some of the communities that you can join, how you can actually join a community, and once you join, how you can also engage in the community. So the first thing that you have to do is actually you need to pick a community that aligns with your interest, right? Because just like I showed in a previous slide, there are lots of communities out there, and every community has its own way of doing things, the benefits that you get from being in it as well. So you need to pick one that aligns with your interest. And when it comes to picking a community too, right, one thing that you also need to focus on is quality over quantity. So you pick the one that you can benefit from the most, right? You try your best to be active in the community by asking any design questions that you have, participating in discussions, and also attending community events as well, right? And then you can share your work for feedback and critique. This will also help you learn from other people's experiences, or how do I even put this thing? Once when you're sharing your work, people will see, they'll give you feedback, and then you can use that to improve your design, right, to make it better. Then I think the next one will be around building and networking the design community. This guy looks like okay. Sorry, I just had to admit someone in. So yeah. So if you want to build a networking and design community, right, you have to focus on making quality, meaningful connections, and these connections are people that are also going to help you grow as well, because you'll be having conversations and then they'll be sharing their ideas with you. And before you know it, right, the conversations that you're having with them is actually going to influence the way you work, right? So you don't want to pick connections that are actually like very high quality, that'll help you grow in your career, right? And then also when it comes to making the connections too, you would want to make connections with people who are on the same path as you or on the same level as you, right? In terms of where you are in your career, and also people who are above you as well. So people on the same level as you can share resources with each other, and then learn, do like a little peer group and learning from each other. People who are ahead of you can also give you career advice based on their personal experience, and then you can also use that to grow as well, right? Then if someone shares something, or you see someone that you like to approach, right, also don't be afraid to approach the person. You can just send the person a simple message, but make sure your message is very concise and straightforward, right? So instead of maybe sending a hi and waiting for the person to respond, you could actually just send them a detailed message about why you're reaching out to them and basically how they can help you, right? And then also you can engage with other people's content, and then seek ways to also collaborate with people in the community. It could be that maybe someone is good with interaction design, but and then maybe you are more good with visual design. So both of you can come together, collaborate, combine your skills, and then just build a small project. This could be an open source project, or maybe a freelance work, or just something you want to do for fun or show your portfolio. Right. Then once you started kind of like engaging and building your network, you want to start collaborating with people. Just like I mentioned in the previous one, where you are kind of collaborating on projects, right? You could create you could create a learning group to share resources. I know that one way that I've done a couple of ways I've done this thing in the past was actually to create like a design book club, right? It was Franklin and I, and then we also had a couple of designers in there too. So with this one, what we're doing is that maybe every month we'll pick a design book, then every week we'll meet up to discuss certain chapters, a couple of chapters in the book. Then basically just contribute and learn from each other. Then you can also create something like a small group. I had this group on WhatsApp where we called it like the Crazy Eight, where we had 8 designers in there, and we're all just sharing resources so we can like we could all learn and grow together, right? And then you could also create accountability groups to help grow as well. So maybe everyone has their own unique goals or unique targets that they want to hit, right? So all of you can come in a group, just help keep everyone accountable, right? And then just like I mentioned too, you can collaborate on side projects, freelance gigs, or open source contributions that you could maybe share in the Figma community, for instance. Okay, so when it comes to engaging in the community, I know that I've kind of like spoken about a couple of ways that you can do that, but then it can be a bit challenging as well, because let's say maybe if you're now beginning, right, and then you're in a community, you see people sharing very high quality work, or work that you aren't able to do at the moment, right? It can be a little bit intimidating. So I just want you to remember that everyone starts from somewhere, or everyone starts at the beginning, right? So you just need to do what you can do, share, and make sure that you are getting the full benefits of the community that you are in, right? Instead of maybe letting imposter syndrome cripple you, and then you actually won't be able to benefit from the community that you are in, right? So that's something to keep in mind. And then also focus on finding value, right? So just like I said before, quality over quantity too. So once you join the community, make sure that you are able to participate in the community activities, benefit from all the various resources that are being shared, rather than joining a lot of communities and then you're actually not able to participate in this any of the community activities, right? And then also you'd want to manage your time effectively, when you join the community. So kindly give me a second. Okay, so when you join a community, right, you would want to balance that with everything else that you have going on, so you don't get burnt out. Because if you decide to join the community and then engage in the community 24/7, that will take away the time that you're supposed to learn and be growing. Even though you can be like participating in discussion and everything, right, you still need to spend some time to practice what you're learning, right? So you need to find a way to manage your time effectively, just so you can learn and grow, right? And do a couple of things outside the community, so that you also don't get burnt out. Then for like a quick recap in terms of how you can get the most out of a community, right? You'd want to join a community that aligns with your interest, and then you would also need to make time to participate in community activities and network with other designers, right? You'd also want to share your work in the community for feedback, right? Because when you start sharing your work, people get to see what you're capable of, and then if there are any opportunities, they could actually reach out to you for possible collaboration, right? And then you'd also want to be consistent as well. So this one, or being consistent, actually means keeping a level of respect, right? Whatever you start to do, you just want to be consistent with it, so that everyone, once someone sees you participating in the community activity, they're actually like able to link you to a specific topic or something that they have in mind, right? So yeah, this is just a quick recap of the presentation. Sorry, I kind of like did it in a rush because I realized I was getting a little bit distracted with the people who were joining in and out, so kind of like losing my train of thought a little. But yeah, I okay. So before I go, right, I'd just like to say one thing, that your community is actually a support system. So you'd want to take advantage of that support system to learn, grow, and also create impactful designs as well. So yeah, I don't know if anyone has any questions. I know I kind of like rushed through this a bit. So if maybe there's part of the presentation that you want me to go over, I can completely do that. Okay, all right. Okay, so I guess there aren't like any questions. So I would, okay. Jeffrey has his hand up. So Jeffrey, you can unmute and
Yeah, so can you hear me?
yes, I can hear you.
Yeah, so I wanted to know, I mean, you in your presentation, you made mention of some of the things we should do and all that. I wanted you to give side examples of your experience when it comes to your journey as a designer. What are some of the communities that helped you, that was like pivotal in your growth, and some of the challenges you encountered with these communities, and how did you overcome them?
Okay, that's actually a great question. So I think I would backtrack a little, right, and then share my experience from 2020, right. So for the people asking about the slides, we will share that when the presentation is live on YouTube, right. So but then to answer your question, Jeff, so the first design community that I came across was UX Ghana, funny enough, and that was back in 2020, probably around the COVID time. So let's say March or April 2020, and then during that time, I kind of like had a lot of free time because we didn't really have anything going on. So I could spend like every day practicing design. I was doing the daily UI challenge at that time, and then every day I'll share like what I've been able to do so far, right? So I'll share it. I'll get people give me feedback. Right, Kalfui was actually like one of the UX Halfway. He was one of the people that gave me feedback almost every single time I'd share something in the group, right? So in the beginning, that helped me know exactly like what I was doing wrong in my design and how to improve as well. Because if I share something in the group and Carfree gives me feedback, I'll just like come back on it and then share again. And then Edward will also give me feedback and then like I'll continue improving what I'd already done, right? Then eventually, I decided to make a transition from backend to design because I realized I was doing more design than coding, and I thought it would be fun to just kind of get a feeling of how design is actually like in a professional setting. So one day, I just put in the group that I'm looking for a design job. If anyone is hiring, you know, I'm available, right? Then someone like in 5 minutes, probably less than 5 minutes or something, someone reached out to me and told me like, oh, her company is hiring designers, so if I'm interested, I should send them my CV. So I sent her the CV, and then she forwarded it to the manager. They got in touch with me. I went for an interview, and then I started working there. Right. So in what I've just said, for instance, you can see how sharing my work exposed me to other designers who could help me improve my work. Right. And also because I was sharing my work too, it kind of gave me like some form of visibility in the group. So when I was looking for opportunities, it was very easy for me to actually like get one. Right. So I don't know if this answers your question, Jeff, but this is actually like one way. Right. I could give multiple examples. Even you and I are our friendship, for instance, it also started in with a Twitter engagement, right? Which goes back into engaging with people's posts. Because I remember you made a post on something in design, then I kind of like responded, and then it started a conversation, and then the conversation led to a DM, and then that DM led to several other DMs and several other initiatives that we've been able to do together up to now, also like develop into a friendship, right? So these are some examples that I can share when it comes to like how participating in the community has actually helped me level up my design, the opportunities, and also build a network. So Jeff, I don't know if this answers your question. Okay, yeah. So for the challenges, right, when it comes to being in the community, one thing that I realized was that I kind of joined a lot of communities and was participating like almost every community activity that was out there. And it got to a point I actually got burnt out. I got very tired, and then design wasn't something that seemed fun for me anymore. So one of the things I decided to do this year was to take a step back from a lot of the activities that I was doing, just so I could get my energy back in a way, right? And then also like reprioritize and re-strategize to see how I can get the most or make the most out of the communities that I am a part of, right? So over engaging kind of like led to burnout for me. So that's like a challenge I experienced, just trying to do a lot in the space that I'm in. Yeah. But then for when it comes to like any other thing, I've had most of like positive experiences because almost everyone that I've met in the community is actually has been very helpful, very helpful. You know that because I can, if you give me the chance, right, I could disturb you with questions and things that I'm trying to learn from because I just want to get to know people's story and also what they've been able to do to see how I can use their experiences to better my career, right? So yeah, so it's been like usually positive experiences. So far, I don't really know if anyone has had a negative experience in maybe a Ghanaian design community, but yeah, so far for me it's been mostly positive. Okay, so Jeff, I don't know if that answers your challenges one. Okay. So if anyone has like any experiences that they want to share around um, design or being in a design community too, you are actually like welcome as well. You can share some of your experiences, and hopefully people on this call can also learn from you too. Okay. Does anyone have any question or anything they'd like to share on community participation?
Michael, I wanted to ask, are we done? Because I just joined.
Yeah. So this one was more of like a fast
Ooh.
session, a little bit of a fast session, right?
I
But I
guess.
can try to do like a recap of
Yeah.
what we've discussed so far. Okay. So
Okay.
let me just come back here. So just in case you see me like pause a bit, it's because I'm trying to let someone in the Google Meet. Okay, so the first thing I spoke about was why community matters in design, and for this one, kind of like mentioned how being part of a community gives you a support system that you can lean on to learn and grow in your career, right? Because in the community, you are going to be surrounded by like-minded people who kind of understand what you're going through, right? It could be maybe you're having a hard time finding resources to learn, or maybe you're kind of like stuck somewhere in your career and you want to just talk to someone who has been through before, right? There are people like that who have also been in similar situations, so they kind of like understand you and then they can help you find your way around that one. And also, we spoke about the fact that design is very collaborative in nature because design itself or doing any creative work is very collaborative, right? If you've worked as a product designer in a company, you know how everyone in the product space actually relies on design. So for this one, when it comes to like people relying on design, it could be the product team, product managers, uh, CEOs, and everyone will have like a conversation with design for the actual product life cycle to begin, right? And then as a designer, you are going to pick the conversation that you've had with that part of the product team to work on your or to do your work, right? And then once you've done your work, you kind of have to go back to the product team again to show them what you've done and then build on it. Then eventually you would have to engage with developers, and then you might engage with QA and maybe even customer support, right? So everyone in the company or part of the product lifecycle kind of has engagement with design. So you'd want to learn how to collaborate with people, and being part of the community gives you the chance to practice collaborating with other people as well, because you could collaborate with people in so many ways, which we'll cover like in the other bits, right? But then also some benefits that you can get from being part of a community, right? You get access to opportunity, just like how I mentioned that immediately I just put a post in a group. I was able to get a message from someone who told me that her company was hiring. So that's like me getting access to opportunity because I was part of a design community, right? Then okay. Yeah, I'll share those ones as well. So then being part of UX Ghana too and other communities too, I've gotten mentors either directly or indirectly, right? And then people have shared their knowledge with me. I can't count the number of conversations that I've had with people in terms of design, career journey, right? Learning from their experiences and sharing my experience with them or any challenges that I'm having, right? And then they at the end of the conversation, I basically get like find a way forward, right? So that is me learning from other people's knowledge, and also being part of a community too gives me the chance to build a network, right? I can look at the people in on the call and basically give or take, I can say that I know close to like 80 to 90% of the people here, and we all met through one design community or the other, right? So that's also like another benefit. If I wasn't part of any design community, I'll probably not know a lot of people on the call, right? So then the next thing that we spoke about was types of design communities that you can join, right? There are a couple of local communities and then some online communities as well. The design space in Ghana is quite young, so but even though it's actually quite young, we do have a couple of communities here. Because over here, I've listed 4 communities, but then I'm pretty sure there are other communities that I may not know or I left out, right? And then there are also lots of online communities. Because if you look online, you'd have with the online communities, it's more of like a international, right? So you are seeing people from like the US, UK, and other countries that have been practicing design for a very very long time, right? So depending on what you're looking for, you can either decide to join a local community or an online community. And then for local communities, we do have UX Ghana, the Design Junkies, Friends of Figma Accra, and the XID community. Then for the online communities, we have Design Twitter, which is like I said, it's more of like just interacting with any designer you see on Twitter, right? There's no like a specific group where all the designers are hanging out. It's just out there on Twitter, right? And most of them are also friendly as well, so you can just network on Twitter as a big group, or you can use it as a big group, right? Then for 10x designers, it's more of a paid community, and I think it's hosted on Circles. For that one, I know it's more for like visual designers. People are looking to improve their visual design because I think almost every Friday you'd have they have workshops, they have recordings, and office hours as well. All right, so if you kind of like have a little money to spend on your career, you can, and you want to improve your visual design skill, you can join 10x designers. And then for Instagram, LinkedIn, and Dribble, they are also kind of similar to design Twitter, where it's just an open space on these social media platforms where designers get to hang out. And yeah, give me a second. Yeah, so these are some of like the communities that you can join. Just like I said, I'll drop links to all these communities. I'm pretty sure Twitter or X, Instagram, LinkedIn, and Dribble, we all know of these ones. I'll drop the local communities and also 10x too, just so if you're interested, you can check them out. Then if you're looking for a community to join, there are a couple of things that you'd want to pay attention to. The first one is looking for a community that aligns with your interest, because that's actually like very very important. Because once you join a community that aligns with your interest, it makes it easier for you to learn and then like find ways to grow, because almost everyone has similar interests as you, right? And it makes engaging in activities and networking very easy because it's already something you're interested in, right? Imagine, let's say you're joining an anime group, but you don't watch anime. If people are talking about something, you will have a very very difficult time being active or participating in certain discussions because you feel like you are lost or that particular space isn't for you. So yeah, so just like I mentioned, let me go back here. So before you join any of these communities, you might want to do your research to make sure that the community aligns with your interest. All right. So once you do that and you join a community, there are a couple of ways that you can actually engage in the community. You can share work for feedback and critique, just like I mentioned what I was doing back in 2020 during the COVID period, where I was sharing my work based on like the daily UI activities for feedback from Kafui, Edward, and other people in the group who are also like very willing to give feedback. Right, and then you can also participate in discussions. Right, maybe there's a topic that's trending, and then people are talking about it. You can just join in, give your 2 cents, and then move on. If you have any question around design too, you can ask as well, because I'm pretty sure lots of people have answers to that. Asking questions, for instance, I want to tie back to what I said about Jeff, right, where Jeff made a tweet asking a question in design, and then I kind of like responded, and it continued like that, right? And then also attending events. This is like a community event. If you were at FitCon a couple of weeks ago, that's also like a community event as well, right? So once you join a community, you want to engage and then be part of it. That way, then yeah. So excuse me, any questions or thoughts so far on what I've covered here before I kind of like jump into the next part of it?
Yeah, I do.
Okay.
So I just want to iterate on everything you said, that some people, when they were starting out their design journey, right, they had no idea of communities. Example is me. When I was starting, I didn't know there were communities I could join. So I missed out on a lot of things, right? So if these are there, I think we should make very good use of it, because the benefits are enormous. You might not reap the benefits now, but you will surely do so, because within that community, some of these companies hiring. Within that community, there's a freelance person who is busy and can't take up any more projects. So then they'll pass it on to somebody they know who can do the job, and that might be you, right? So just it's not just about even joining, it's joining and being active, because if you're not active, they wouldn't know. When opportunities come, they wouldn't know you. So if you like, be a talkative in that group, right? So that's all I want to add. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, Franklina. So think with the I don't know if does anyone else have anything to like to add to what I've spoken about so far before I jump on to the next one. Okay, so yeah, so once you join a community and you start participating in community activities, right? One way or the other, you will slowly start to build a network, right? People will know you. You also get to know people, and then maybe certain conversations in the group might lead to a DM here and there, and then that DM could lead to other things, right? So when you are in that particular phase, you'd want to focus on or keeping an eye out for making quality connections instead of um, low quality connections. So for this one, what I mean is that you should want to engage with the person, right? Like get to know them outside maybe the space of them being just a designer, right? Or find a way to connect, even if you just want to know them as a designer, right? Find a way to connect with them on like that level. So it could be having certain topics in common that you can talk about, right? Because it will eventually help you grow as well, right? Because from those conversations, one way or the other, something from that conversation is going to find its way into your professional life, right? So you'd want to focus on making quality connections that will help you eventually go and level up your career, and also, right, when you're making the connections, you want to find like people who are on the same level as you in terms of your career journey. So this one might be, let's say, if you're a junior designer, right, you might want to be friends with other or network with other junior designers as well, because all of you are on the same level, right? So you can share resources with each other, and then all of you have like something to relate to in a way. I don't know if I'm making sense, right? But let's say if you're a junior designer and most of the people that you know are senior designers, they will have things that they can share with you that will also help you grow, right? But then it's like they've already gone past the level that you're in, so they may or may not be able to like relate to certain challenges that you're having or be the best, right, to kind of help you out. In that case, they can share other things with that also help you grow, right? So you'd want to like have connections that are people on the same level as you and people above you, just so you can um, learn from each other or from everyone, right? And then you'd also, if you start building networks, you'd want to like engage with other people, content. So maybe someone came across a YouTube video or something, or like maybe something on user research, and then they shared it in the group. Engaging with the content could be just saying a thank you or watching the video and coming back to share what you learned in the video, right? So that could be like a way, right? Or maybe someone has asked a question, then you can give them an answer. Maybe they want to find Figma design tutorials online, and then you happen to have a playlist on YouTube. You can just share with them. That's also like one way of engaging with content, right? But if you are in a group where people are like having conversations, but then maybe you don't really have anything to share, but then you want to message this particular person because from a little research that you did online, they've worked in a company that you've worked in, or you want to work in, right? They've worked in a company that you want to work in, or they have something that you need, right? You shouldn't be afraid to reach out to them. And when you are reaching out to them, to make sure that your message is very detailed, right, and straightforward. So instead of just sending them like a hi and waiting for 10 years for them to get back to you, you can just send them a paragraph, right, detailing, talking about what you are looking for and how they can help you out, right? And then also you can network with people to collaborate on certain, it could be design projects, like maybe let's say Figma stuff, or it could be something else that is also a project, right? But not necessarily like maybe UI design. Because Frank, if you remember our book club, for instance, right, that was a way of collaborating, even though it wasn't like a design project. It was still like a collaboration. Kindly give me a moment. Okay. Yeah, so so you'd want to find ways that you can collaborate with people, and all these ways are ways that you can network with people to, you can engage with people to build a network in a design community, right? Then yeah, so when you're networking and everything, you'd want to find a way to kind of like grow together, right? So yeah, even everyone in the community is growing together anyway, right? But then you'd want to like find people who are maybe on the same journey as you, right? You could create a learning group to share resources, right? An example of maybe a learning group is even the book club that we did, right? Or you could have a small group of designers who have the same goals as you, and then you guys can come together, share resources, and learn together. Maybe all of you want to learn prototyping, right? And then app your design prototyping game or interaction design game. You can just create a small group, right? And then this small group could also be like an accountability group and also a learning group, because if you see a resource on um, prototype it, you could put it in the group and everyone will learn and grow together. It also doesn't need to be like a big group. It could just be maybe you and one other person. An example of this is like something I'm doing with Hakim. Hakim and I, when we see like a design tutorial ish in a way, right? I'll send it to Hakim. Hakim sees one, he sends it to me, and then we both try to practice, right? Then we kind of like share our results with each other. Right? So that's also like an example of that group. It's just like a two-person group, but then it's still a group in one way, right? And then you can team up with people to work on side projects. I know I've done this with Jeffrey in the past, where we've worked on a couple of side projects for freelance gigs and other open source contribution to. I've done this in the past with people as well. I know I've worked with Michael on a couple of projects. And then what have I done an open source contribution? Okay, I don't think I've done that one. But yeah, that's also like a way that you can collaborate, with people that you meet in the design community. Yeah, and then the kind of the last one is more around overcoming certain challenges, in the design community. So when you join the design community as a beginner, for instance, it can be quite intimidating because you are new in the space and you are trying to find your way around. And then in that same community too, there could be people who have done design for like 100 years, right? And then they're talking about certain topics that you have no idea of. Because imagine, let's say you're a junior person, you are just beginning, you enter into a community, you're expecting to see things around like Figma, tutorials and everything like that. And then people are talking about research and design operations and all these things that are just, you've never heard of before, right? Just keep in mind that, okay, for them, they've been doing this for a long time, and that's like the stage that they are right now. For you, it could be maybe trying to figure out how to use shadows in your work. Even using shadows cars, like it could be like an advanced thing, but yeah, let's just say trying to create like basic layouts in your work, right? Just know that, okay, yeah, they also probably just started where you are, right? So just keep that in mind and focus on what you need to do. Just find ways that you can put yourself out there in the community to benefit from all the other opportunities that they have going on. And also, when it comes to finding or getting value from a community, it can be quite difficult, right? Because I don't know if anyone has had this experience before. In some communities, there are people who kind of talk a lot, right? I've had like a couple of experiences, so I'll just use that. So in some communities I've been in, there are certain people who actually talk a lot and make it intimidating. But then when they can say all the big things that maybe they've read online or somewhere, right? But when you actually start to talk to them, right, or in like try to engage with them in a practice, you slowly get to realize that, oh, this person is actually just all talk, and maybe it's because something that they heard online or something, but then they actually can't necessarily implement, or at least they aren't able to implement what they are talking about to the level to match like the level that they are talking about it, right? So you need to focus on finding high quality value. So this one might be a little challenging, right? But you need to, I think for this one, the best way that you can go about it is to do a little research. So maybe let's say you join UX learner, and then you hear me talking plenty about design operations, right? And maybe it's slightly intimidating. I'm trying to come across as an industry expert in design operations, but meanwhile, I probably just watched one tutorial or read one article on NN Group, and then I'm here acting like an expert. So what you can do in a situation like this is that you can kind of do your research about me, right? Just get to like know who I am and find out if I actually do have experience in or on the topic that I'm talking about, right? Before you kind of like take whatever it is that I'm saying as World Cup, because if you take it and then it doesn't work for you, it would kind of it won't be a good experience on your end, right? So just try as much as possible to do your research when it comes to what you pay attention to in a design community. And also another thing too that can be a little bit of a challenge is when you end up participating in lots of community activities, and then it's like it's takes all your time because you because you want to, like maybe be active for people to know you, so people can see you and think of you as um, an industry leader or someone they can come to for advice, right? You end up spending all your time in the community activities or community engagement, and then you sort of start to neglect your practice or your learning time, right? So you want to learn how to kind of effectively manage your time, right? Balance all the community activities and also making time to learn, as well as making time for yourself, right? And making time for yourself is also like very important, right? Because how do I say this? I've said this thing feeling like conversations, but since this one is being recorded, I want to like kind of pay attention to how I say it a little bit. But I think I'll just go ahead and say it. So for other careers, right? Let's say maybe a career like being an accountant or something, right? Some people get to clock off. They do their 9 to 5 and then they clock off, right? They might get home, maybe just watch like a movie or something, and then go to bed at 9 p.m. But you or someone, compared to someone working in the tech field, it's not the same, right? Because of our um how our industry is structured. Because even like after you do your 9 to 5, you'd have to find time to learn and then do other things, right? So yeah, just find the effective way to manage your time. If you have family, everything, just find a way you can make sure that you have some form of balance when it comes to engaging the communities, right? Then just a quick recap, right? To join a community, you need to make sure that it aligns with your interest, and then you're also able to, once you join the community, you also need to make sure that you're able to participate in activities and then network with other people in the community. You should also be open to sharing your work for feedback, right? For feedback and critique, because it's going to help you kind of like make what you're doing better. And also, I beg, please, like, if you're in a community and someone kind of like shares that work for feedback, please try to give honest feedback as much as possible, right? Or give constructive feedback that can help them make what they've done better. That's if you can, right? Because usually we kind of like share feedback around, oh, this is fire, this flames, that kind of thing. Those things are nice and somewhat of an ego booster, but then they may not necessarily be like something or feedback that people can take to make their work better. So please, if you can, right, just kind of like criticize their work in a way, but please be respectful about it too, right? If you see that maybe there's like hierarchy, something that you need to fix, you can point it out in a nice way. Then also, once you join the community too, you need to like find ways to collaborate with other people, because it's one way that you can learn, grow, and also get access to other opportunities that are out there. Okay. Then the last bit is that you need to know that your community is a support system, because the community is made up of people who have been on the same journey as you, who are on the same journey as you, who have similar experiences and can relate with you, right? So you need to take advantage of that, right? To identify ways that you can grow and build your career. Okay, so yeah, this is like a quick recap of what we've discussed so far. Hope Franklin, this kind of like just gave you a fair idea of what we've been able to discuss so far.
Yes, it does. It does. Thank you.
Right. Okay, so for anyone that just joined, I don't know if you have maybe a question or something that you'd like to share in terms of how you've been able to engage in the community, some ways that you benefited from being part of the community. Or if you have any questions that you'd like to share too, please do that too. Okay, so if there aren't any more like questions or anything that anyone else would like to add, I would like to thank everyone for joining today's webinar. And just like I said, I will add all the slides and then the links to all the communities that I mentioned, so you can check them out too. And just like I said, if this is also your first time joining this webinar, it's a monthly series that UXANA does, where we bring on an industry leader, don't say industry leader, but yeah, someone with like maybe a bit of experience in the industry to share their knowledge and expertise on a certain topic. So it's more of like a monthly thing. So to know when the next one will be out, the next one should be out in September. You can either join the community channel on Telegram, or you can follow yours down on social media as well to kind of stay updated on when the next one is going to happen. Okay, so thank everyone for joining, and you can also feel free to connect with anyone on the call. You can feel free to drop either your socials, or yeah, you can feel free to drop your socials in the chat if you want to connect to anyone. All right, so I'll just leave it open for like 3 more minutes for anyone who wants to connect with someone.